Dabo Swinney and Clemson do pretty well at this recruiting deal, so they thought they'd give it another shot this year. We got Jason Priester on the line from SI's Clemson coverage. It's allclemson.com as we make our way through June. We've been saying for a long time, Jason, that this would be the month that the floodgates would open, and all these recruiting visits are coming home to roost.
Yeah, Clemson fans have been a little frustrated, with how slow this class is coming together. That's not typical for Clemson. They like to have their classes, locked up as early as possible. They've only got 4. They only have 4 commitments going into the weekend, and they usually have at least double that many by now. And it's frustrated a lot of fans, and I get it, but the dead period really hurt them. Clemson does not like to offer kids until they come and really make an unofficial visit. They want to see the kid make the effort to come to campus, get to know the coaches, get to know some of the players, and prove to that coaching staff that Clemson is a place they might be interested in playing. They're just Clemson's not a place that's going to hand out a bunch of offers like a lot of other schools do. So they took a much slower than normal approach to this cycle. And Dabo Swinney even said it himself back in November, I think it was. He even told the fans, we're going to take a slower than normal approach this cycle. Be prepared, it's coming, and don't hit the panic button. But it hadn't stopped some from hitting the panic button. They're a little worried because there's only 4 commitments. But I think you need to pump the brakes on that worry. I think things are fixing to start changing.
Well, Jason, I don't think the program has proven itself yet, so I think that panic's certainly well-deserved.
The fan base this fan base in particular can be a little fickle at times, so I'm sure that's the case for a lot of fan bases, though, not just Clemson's.
Oh, yeah. Anytime I hear that comment, I'm like, no, I think they're all running about this neck and neck for the most part. All right, we got Jason Priester on the line from allclemson.com on the SI platform for Clemson Athletics. And let's see, run through those first couple weekends. Just let me know what stood out to you in regards to who visited, who seemed to have a good visit, and who might be a little bit better lean than they were earlier.
Well, there's been a lot going on in Clemson since the 1st of June. There's been so many guys that's taken unofficial visits, and Dabo Swinney had his high school camps over the last week, the 10 days. They did 6 days of camp, 2 sessions per day. And I went and checked out 4 of them. And I watched Arch Manning work out last Saturday. And, I went into that thing thinking, I knew he was good, but I figured the hype was a little, the hype might be a little too much too soon. And he quickly put that to bed, man. That kid's the real deal. He's as good as advertised. I don't care if it was a workout without pads. He just oozes that moxie, that you want to see in a quarterback. But he's a guy that was on campus. Clemson held their big recruiting event this weekend for their top 2022 prospects that they consider priorities. And 2 of the biggest targets in this class were on campus, Jaden Lucas and Travis Saul. And 2 guys Clemson probably was considered to be the leaders in, back towards the beginning of the year. And have kind of lost some ground with here, on the tail end of this dead period. I might even consider Georgia and North Carolina to be in better shape for Shaw going into the weekend in Clemson. I mean, I think UNC has really made this a 3-team battle now. But Clemson made up a lot of ground this weekend. Their history of pumping defensive linemen into the league really helps. He got a lot of one-on-one time with some players, Brian Breesy and Peyton Page, who was a fellow North Carolinian like himself. And I think Clemson really got themselves back into this thing. Still a long ways to go with him. Still think it's a 3-team race. He's going to Georgia this weekend for an official. We'll see how that plays out. But Jaden Lucas, he's an in-state guy, 5-star guy. That's the guys you don't want to lose. Clemson is they don't take a lot of guys from in-state, but when they make a guy a priority from inside the state of South Carolina, they usually don't miss on them. And North Carolina's made this a battle too. Mac Brown's doing some work this cycle. It's gonna be interesting to see if it pays off for him. But I think this is a battle between North Carolina and Clemson. I still would consider Clemson the favorite right now, but I think it's a tight race, and I think he's gonna make a decision soon. I do know that some fans were not impressed. frustrated because they didn't see any big commitments from this weekend. And I don't think that was really the goal. And just because you didn't see any announced, that don't mean some didn't happen, because I know at least one did, and it's going to be announced in a couple of days. But this thing was designed to do what they kind of did with Travis Shaw and Jaden Lucas, get them back on campus. They haven't been on campus with the coaches in over a year now, and just kind of restart the process. But the fruits is going to play off down the line. I think Clemson's fixing to see a couple of commitments in the next week or so. They picked up a commitment from an offensive lineman. He was a preferred walk-on. Mason Johnstone, he's an in-state guy. They picked up a commitment from a kicker yesterday, I think it was. He was there this weekend. I talked to his coach, not his high school coach, but his coach at his kicking camp, and God, I wish I could remember his name, but it's hard to pronounce. I would butcher it if I tried to remember right now, and I apologize. But he told me, he just can't quit talking this kid up. He's talking about how strong his leg is. He was telling me he coached a kid that's in the NFL right now, and Robert Gunn's the kid's name. He said Robert's leg is already as strong as this guy's is now, and that's pretty impressive. I know he kicked a 60-yard field goal in Death Valley Saturday that Dabo Sweeney said would probably have been good from 72, and that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. In terms of Manning and his progress and development, that's pretty impressive too, because as I understand it, there are no coaches in the family. So I don't know where he picked up any kind of knowledge in terms of his family lineage. None of them are coaches, so I don't think any of them know anything about football. So he's done pretty well that way. So talking about, of course, this past weekend, now looking forward to what we've got on tap for this weekend at Clemson. Who are the headliners?
Well, this weekend, I don't even know who I was going to be there this weekend, to be honest. I'd have to look at my notes. I don't have them right now. I can tell you some more about the elite retreat.
Oh, shoot from the hip, Jason. Whatever you got for us, we're good for.
I think I only hit two so far, but Toriano Pride is a guy that was at the elite retreat, and Keon Sabb and Sherrod Koval, three guys Clemson are looking at safeties. One of them's Sabb's a 5-star. The other two guys are 4 stars. And I think Clemson's in really good shape with Pride. Matter of fact, I think his commitment's over. I think he's a guy that's going to announce here in the next few days, a week tops. Koval's going to announce Saturday. I think his commitment's over. I think both of them's going to announce for Clemson. And I think Clemson set themselves up nicely for Sabb too. I think they're in the lead for him at the moment. Let's see, who else was there? I got it right here. 4-star defensive end DJ Wesolak. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not going to go as far as say his recruitment's over, because he's still got a couple more visits to take, but Clemson really made a move on this guy, and I think Clemson's in the driver's seat. I think they really lead comfortably for him. He still has visits to take to USC and Florida, and he spent last weekend in Chapel Hill. But as long as there's no groundbreaking things happen on those visits, I think Clemson ends up landing him too. And let's see. Running back Trevor Etienne. He's a guy I probably get asked about the most, because he's Travis's little brother, and he and his family have played his recruitment so close to the vest. It's really hard to get any solid information on where he stands. I think Clemson's in it just as much as anybody. I couldn't even begin to predict where he might go. With Alabama already having taken the 5-star, I think his name's Emmanuel Henderson kid. I think they're off out of it. I think LSU's got at least one running back higher on their board than Etienne, possibly 2. So I'm not sure where he stands in the eyes of their coaching staff right now. So this thing might end up working out for Clemson. And the one no-show from the weekend was running back Branson Robinson, who Clemson had at the top of the board. And the fact that since he no-showed, he was already a strong Georgia lean anyway. Clemson's probably going to zero their efforts in on ETN and see if they can get him there.
Jason Priester on the line breaking down Clemson football for us. And, of course, June, a huge recruiting month, especially this season with all the dead period that we've had to endure for the last year and a half. Only about 10% of the recruits that typically would have committed by June 1st had committed this year. So it only is reasonable to expect the commits to be flooding in here in the next, 6 weeks or so, something in that range. Anything else that we're missing here, Jason?
No, I think I hit them all there, Mark. I think I hit them all. You know,
Excellent.
like I said, I'm not real sure who I was going to be on campus this weekend. I didn't really prepare that. So
You're good.
I wasn't thinking about the coming weekend. I was just looking at last weekend. But yeah, that's about it. That's about all I got right now.
All right, Jason, we appreciate you stopping by as always.
Hey, man, thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me on.